Welcome to Not Like This.
Not like this.
From professional wrestling, horror films, and everything in between. Strap in. And now your hosts, Dale Zawada and Jim Snedeker Jr.
Welcome to Not Like This. I'm Dale Zawada with Jim Snedeker Jr. And Jim, it is time for the 2020 Year-End Awards.
Oh, I can't wait. Finally at the end of this shit year.
Yeah, we've put up through a lot, but there's been some good, there's been some bad. So let's just give our opinions, our thoughts on some of these. Let's start with Game of the Year. Now,
Ooh.
Jim, it has not been the best year for video game releases. It just hasn't. Cyberpunk 2027 came out. A bit of a buggy mess. Call of Duty is still just Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's Call of Duty. Last of Us 2 did come out this year, as did Doom Eternal and Ghost of Tsushima, which I enjoyed very much. But let me open up the envelope here. Let me just do envelope Foley.
Oh, I hope you're trolling too. It'll make this so much better.
The game of the year for 2020 is Overwatch. Oh man, it did it again.
It did it again.
Oh my goodness.
Every year.
Congratulations to Blizzard. every year.
5 years in a row.
For me anyway. Do you have a specific game of the year? Did you play literally anything other than Overwatch?
I did. I played about 15 minutes of Doom Eternal at our friend John's house. And it was cool. It was like the 2015 Doom or 2016, whenever that Doom came out. It was like that.
But longer, eternally.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it was not really my thing. It looked pretty, I guess.
Because you just run around, kill the demons, cool hard rock music plays, and that's it. It's a game for men.
Yeah, I played Cold War, which, like you said, is just, it's Call of Duty. I wouldn't give it any awards. It's just the same shit, a little bit more polished. Kind of, it was cool. It's neat.
Most polished video game goes to maybe Call of Duty.
Yeah, and you know they really seem to have worked out the cross-platform play. I haven't noticed any sort of like, oh, this match is weird because we're playing PS4 people or Xbox people and we're mixed. Like, I haven't really noticed any differences, so that's good.
I did. So, 'cause we had this for a while. This cross-platform stuff.
I did grab Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons. It was on sale. It was a pretty good sale. It was like $23 or something. And it's really cool. I wouldn't, again, it gets no awards for me at all. But it's
getting an honorable mention.
Well, it's one of the first PC video games I ever played was TIE Fighter on DOS. And it was so cool. And it was at the beginning of my love for Star Wars. And I just loved that. So there was X-Wing and then there was TIE Fighter. They were two separate games. And I'm like, wait, you just get to be the bad guys this whole game in a TIE Fighter? This is really cool. And you got to fly like a TIE bomber, a bunch of the Imperial ships. And then nothing really was like that until Rogue Squadron came out for N64. And then there was like GameCube sequel to it that I played a little bit at someone's house. And I'm like, yeah, I liked Rogue Squadron better. And this is from what I can recall, like the first flight game like that. The difference being it's a lot more like Rogue Squadron. People mostly played third person, I feel. I think there was like a cockpit option, but it just wasn't as fun. But this one, widescreen monitor and good graphics, and you're in the cockpit of a TIE Fighter or an X-Wing, and it's hard, but it's really immersive and fun. So I picked it up for nostalgic reasons, and I'm glad I did. But I wouldn't give it an award.
Would you give it a recommendation to listeners? Or
Don't
myself?
know yet. I don't know yet because it's mostly a multiplayer game, and I've only played like the campaign. which is like, it's sort of a light, I haven't finished it, but it's like a pretty light story just to get you used to flying. But it is really, it's not arcadey. Like, it's really complicated. And if you want to, you can have it set up where it's really difficult to do the maneuvers and stuff. And
why would you do that?
If you had like the flight stick set up and you were into flight sims and stuff.
Oh, I see.
If like you were into that whole jazz.
Are you using controller, VR?
I'm using a controller. And it's cool. I need to get a flight stick, just a cheap one for it.
I remember when that game came out, maybe they patched it. There were a lot of complaints about, I think, was it the controller? No, or was it VR? One of the components of playing it really wasn't optimized for it. It had a really bad like dead zone sort of thing. Like you had to move the joystick significantly before it even started to rotate, which that's not how that should be. It should be immediate. There should be some actual sensitivity there. And so I remember that was a big issue when it came out.
You could tweak all that in the settings now.
Like work better. I turned it on.
Yeah, but you like manually set the dead zone yourself and the sensitivity of when each thing you're controlling starts on the stick. But you can tell it's just more fun with the flight stick based on some of the things you have to do.
I'd imagine so. I'd imagine it's probably pretty baller in the VR as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably never know that, but it's fun. It's cool. The sounds are there. The music's there. And if you liked TIE Fighter and you're old like me and you wanted something like that, it's probably as close as you're going to get for a while.
Okay.
So I grabbed it.
Might have to give that a shot if it's on a bigger sale, because I'm not a big flight guy. So once it's 40, 50, maybe, then I'll give it a go.
It's like 23 now. So EA has already said like they're not going to add any more content. So
we're done here, guys.
Well, I'm imagining like in February, if you want to pick it up, it'll probably be like $12 or something.
No more no more new maps, no more season 2. Mm-mm. They're just fucking done.
That's what they said.
God. Hopefully there's enough there to make that worth it. It's a multiplayer game, so I guess as long as there's a community, but those maps, I guess the map is space, so it's endless.
Yeah. The map is space and it's cool. When you're doing a space flight simulator combat thing like this, you can go in any direction. There's no gravity like pulling you any which way. So it can get a little disorienting.
Get seasick, get space sick.
It's fun though.
All right, good honorable mention there. Maybe some recommendations for people. I would suggest Ghost of Tsushima for folks who haven't given that a shot. And it's a single player game. They did add like a multiplayer thing to it, which is awesome. They keep building onto it, which I was not expecting.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot from a single player game.
Yeah, they keep those guys are still working. They're like, yeah, just keep paying us. We don't we don't care. So definitely give that a shot if you have a PS4 or 5.
I have seen some of that in person as well, and that looked really, really awesome.
Yeah, that's super fun game. Let's
move on to the next. Would like to check that out at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, yeah, you're gonna have to get on that PlayStation.
I don't want. I have it. I have a PlayStation. I have a PS4, but
next category: Rookie of the Year. Now, some people stepped to the forefront this year, but nobody, and this is just my pick, Jim can do his pick, but nobody had the impact this year like 19-year-old coronavirus, COVID-19. It's definitely your Rookie of the Year. Put up record numbers, and this youngin's not done yet, Jim.
That's true. That's true. Has quite a track record of success for itself this year in its rookie season.
Getting things done.
Not a bad pick there.
Has there been anything else, anybody else this year that really stepped up their game? Sports, political world, anything? Video games, wrestling?
I don't know, because what would you consider a video game rookie other than a game that came out this year?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, maybe some streamer. Did you see Shroud's little brother?
No.
It's the Rookie of the Year. He's from Canada.
Oh, Canada. Yeah, I know that place. That's where
Please
Nars from.
subscribe to Shroud Facts. That's all I've got.
Get
I
the
was looking-
notifications in your email and on your phone.
I did Google like what kind of PC hardware and stuff that he has, because we're gonna get into some PC talk. So let's keep on with the 2020 year-end awards, the year of the Lord here. Let's go on to movie of the year. Now, Wonder Woman 84 was a heavy favorite coming in, but it seems that movie is a bit of a disappointment to many. Bad Boys for Life gets an honorable mention.
As
Harley
like
Quinn 2, you know?
Bad Boys for Life was like the only movie that came out at the theater before COVID. That anyone
And even
remembers?
well, you know, you got your HBO Max, you got your streaming devices, because that's where my movie of the year was available. My movie of the year is Borat 2.
Oh, that was funny.
The words are. I thought that was great. Maybe Rudy Giuliani is going to get Rookie of the Year for as an actor.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or yeah, well, I guess she's been in other stuff. The chick who played Borat's daughter.
Yeah, she was really good.
But she was good too. It's got to be hard to be Borat's daughter in that type of scenario.
And obviously, you know, heavy makeup and stuff, because she doesn't look like that in real life. She's a very attractive young lady. So she doesn't even have to live that Sacha Baron Cohen lifestyle where everyone just sees him. He's so recognizable, even if he's not dressed as Borat, which he never fucking is. But you're like, hey, it's Borat. Like,
right.
Damn it. She's not going to have to deal with that. So good for her. Good for her. So yeah, Borat 2 is my movie of the year. Did you see anything else?
I have. I've seen some movies that have come out this year. I've seen Soul, the Disney animated movie Soul. I've seen The Croods 2, whatever that's called. You know, they don't call things 2 anymore.
Yeah, Stonehenge.
Yeah, Croods Back to the Stone Age or whatever. That was decent. It was entertaining. But Soul was way, way better. Soul was actually, I thought, was really good. I wouldn't say it's like Up. You know, I'd probably watch it again before I'd watch Inside Out. It's a good one. It's good. Soul is really good. So that'll be my pick for the year. I didn't watch Wonder Woman yet.
Is that going to be one that tugs on the heartstrings?
It does a little bit, but not as bad as like Up in the first like 4 seconds of Up. Where they give you an entire movie.
Here's the credits. Like you start crying.
Right.
You start crying right now.
Yeah, it tugs on the heartstrings. It's very I don't know. I didn't really see it going. I honestly had no idea that the main chunk of the premise of the movie, I didn't even recall, because I didn't see any trailers for it really or anything, you know. Whereas I feel like if this was a regular year, I would know that like he ends up in a cat's body. That's not a spoiler. That's like the main plot point of the bulk of the movie. And it's really neat. It's like it's a neat premise. It's not what I was expecting. I kind of thought the whole movie was going to be this main character trying to get back to Earth, you know, like, oh, it wasn't my time. I need to get back. And it's not really.
It's like I like being a cat.
It is, but it isn't. Like there's another character that's got their own thing going on. That's more important. So it was cool. Soul was cool.
So there it is. A late contender too. That just came out.
I think Christmas Day or something.
Man. Yeah, I haven't seen the Wonder Woman 2 or Wonder Woman 84. I don't think I've seen the original Wonder Woman. I don't really care for the DC movies in general and comic book movies. I'm just a little burnt out.
Yeah, I don't either, but man, I'd watch that. It looks neat.
It does look neat. It looks colorful. It kind of looks like their Thor Ragnarok, where it's like, oh, we got colors, we got some fun. There's some drama attached to it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna stay away from that. There's a lot of social justice warriors going at it and things like that.
Really?
I'm just gonna hang out over here.
Are they? What's happening? What's going on? I don't know this.
I mean I haven't seen it, but from the osmosis that I've been exposed to it, something about there's like a body switch, you know, very like Soul cat body, something like that. And there's a guy and he's not in control of this and that, and there's some sex. So it's like, well, he didn't have, he wasn't consenting to that. So was that, rape and all this? And I'm like, oh shit, probably by the sounds of it. Yes. But I mean, I haven't seen the movie. And so there's a lot of that. And then like on the flip side of it, there was a lot of folks who supposedly it's just not a great movie. And there was
You
a
don't
lot
say.
it just wasn't
A
very
DC
good,
movie?
which is, yeah. And there was a lot of, I don't want to hear, white men talking about this movie with their opinions. If you've got a cock out, you shouldn't even. I'm like, God,
Ghostbusters then.
I'm just going to hang out over here and I'll watch it eventually when it's on some sort of streaming thing for me that I have. I don't have the HBO Max just
It had the Ghostbusters effect.
a little bit. And I
Where
was
it's like,
damn.
oh, we'll make a shit movie, but nobody can criticize it because it's
It has a lot of
cast.
defenders. Yes, sir. It does have a lot of defenders. And it's like, if it, like, don't die on that hill. If it's shit, just let it be shit. And I really don't even care about the body switching, rape part of it. Maybe I should. I mean, maybe when I see it, I'll change my tune. Like, holy cow, that was that was some serious business, guys.
Yeah, you never know how bad that's going to be when you're just reading people's outrage on the internet until you actually see it for yourself.
Like, you could describe the actual Ghostbusters Dan Aykroyd ghost blowjob scene. You're like, oh, that's unbelievable. And you're like, it's actually kind of funny and real quick. So let's not take it too seriously here.
Yeah.
So maybe it's
he
maybe
didn't
it's something
consent.
like that. I don't know. It's there. What about Ray? Nobody ever asked what about Ray stands.
No.
So we'll see. Looks good though.
They
Looks
ask about the Crystal Skull vodka, and it's pure as the driven snow. It's the purest vodka that has ever been made, and you could see aliens if you drink enough of it.
The other vodkas use essentially antifreeze to keep their vodka tasty, and we don't do that. It's pure. That's why it tastes like shit.
Pure space diamonds to purify our vodka. And you drink it, and when you see the skull, you'll see an apparition, you'll see a vision, you'll get a class 4 contact with an alien.
It's made from alien cum every morning. I'm drenched in it, and I wipe it off my face and into the bottle. And it's like, you sure that's just not your sweat? Are we just drinking?
It's not just yours
morning
from when you forgot, like before bed, or maybe a ghost when you were asleep blew you. I don't know.
I've had the Crystal Skull vodka. It's vodka. Vodka's one of those things where
I gotta know who's the mark.
What?
Somebody I know, or did you bought it?
I think it was a gift.
Okay.
It was a gift.
Because I'm not saying it's not good or whatever, but
no, I'll be if I didn't receive it as a gift, I would have bought it myself. 100%.
Because it's Ray's vodka.
Yes.
You have to be a Ghostbusters mark like we are to buy it.
And
I don't know. I just like vodka, and I heard it might be pretty good.
It's like I have some mixed drinks from time to time. My White Russians need vodka. And of course, it comes in the cool Crystal Skull alien head thing, so you can put that somewhere. It's just nice overall. Next category, the surprise of the year. Now, 2020 was the year of many surprises, but my biggest surprise, and I don't want to bring the show down, but my biggest surprise was the fact that over 70 million people voted for Donald J. Trump for president, despite all the deaths, the suffering to millions, and the damage to our political structure and economy. 70 million people. That was a surprise to me.
Yeah,
that was a big one.
It's rough when you think about it, because on the one hand, you can say, well, Joe Biden has received more votes than anyone in history. But the second most is Donald Trump, which just goes to show you that it didn't really matter what you thought this year. Everyone thought it was a big deal. No matter what your political leanings were, there's never been turnout like this. And it wasn't just because, the Democrats were like, okay, got to get him out of here. It was just the most popular election in history, or since 1900 or something like that. It's crazy.
People were involved. It got the people out there. Yeah, I was driving down the street today, and one of my neighbors on their garage, they have a big Trump 2020 flag, and then another flag with like an AK on it. It's just an AK. I'm like, all right.
You don't say.
I'm gonna take a picture of it. I'm gonna take a picture of it tomorrow.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, like a Russian designed assault rifle is their choice next to Trump 2020.
And if it is, some sort of American-made rifle, I'm sure people will let us know. I'll try to post that on our Facebook.com/
I'm sure
this podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure there are clones, like American-made replicas of a AK design, but that's, it's a Russian design.
It is Russian design. But it was Trump 2020. No more bullshit.
Yeah. The most bullshit ever. That's what we meant.
And I'm like, are you referring to no more of his bullshit
he
that
lost?
we just had for 4 years, or no more? Yeah, because he's gone now. Or
what are
you trying to say?
I get what you're saying. Like, oh, we're not gonna bullshit you anymore. For real. When we win this time, no bullshit. Not like the last time.
It's like when they kept with "Make America Great Again." It's like we just did that, so that doesn't make sense. Like, it would have been ballsy if they did "Keep America Great." Like, it was the worst 4 years. It's like, let's keep it going. That would have taken balls, but they were just lazy and they just didn't really change anything.
That's sort of how you have to double down, right? Because if you said "Make America Great Again," and then your guy wins, then don't you have to say, well, yeah, it was great. He won. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, he didn't really get a chance, but if you give him 4 more years, he'll have a chance.
Or change, yeah. Trump 2020, greatness in progress. You have to do something.
That's a little too good.
Yeah.
That's not going to speak to his base. Greatness in what's progress? You mean like a liberal?
Fuck them progressives? Fuck them. No more bullshit.
No more. I'm tired of this bullshit. Fuck your feelings.
No. Yeah. Did you have any sort of big surprise this year besides any of the obvious stuff?
Surprises. I will say I was surprised that, and I don't want to have to go back to this, but I was surprised that that anybody responded at all and shut down to any degree. Other than Seattle or Chicago or something, like the whole entire Republican red states were like, yeah, we got to close too. We get it.
Yeah.
So that was sort of surprising to me. I didn't see that coming. I thought it was just going to be ignure it.
At least
forever.
it was a pleasant surprise. Yeah.
Lasted a minute and then.
Yes, literally.
I'll be honest, I was surprised I got COVID. I mean,
big surprise.
Well, overall, if you take from the start of the year till the end of the year, I was surprised I got it. But now, when I got it, I wasn't surprised. By that point in the year, I was like, yeah, of course. But I don't know, March, if you'd say you're going to get it, no, come on. They're going to deal with all this and there'll be a medication or something and we'll quarantine. And no, I won't get it. There's only been 1,000 people that have gotten it.
Yeah. Oh, those were the days.
Yeah. Well,
those were the days.
Now I think 55% of everyone I know has had it.
Yeah. At least over half for myself. Who's got it now? Our buddy Bobby has it. So rest up, my friend. Just shit it out. Just shit out that Corona. Oh, there you go.
Drink Coronas to fight Corona.
That's what I'm doing right now.
I'm surprised Corona didn't.
They can't touch this. They can't fucking touch this.
That's my surprise, is they didn't decide to latch onto that.
Yeah,
lean into it a little bit, because you're not changing your brand for a 1 year long virus.
Starve a cold, drown Corona.
Drown in Corona.
Drown in Corona. There it is. Man, we're marketing guys today. We're on the ball.
You can reach us at patreon.com/notlikethis for all your marketing needs.
I do feel they advertised a little bit more than normal, but it was their standard commercials. Like, they wanted people to see the name, see the bottles, people having fun. Because obviously when coronavirus happened, it was just like, it's that virus you get from drinking that beer. That was great. I love having comedians on Facebook. I love knowing so many comedians and just seeing works in progress.
Yeah,
that
never will be.
March.
They'll never quite progress enough. I didn't think it was going to hurt them. And I was sort of shocked when people thought, oh, this is going to be terrible for Corona, for the beer. I'm like, really? Will it? I think that's so separated in people's minds. And I'll give you an example of the other way. So there was a hair salon in South Holland called Osama's that, geez, just a name. And then September 11th happened and I had never even noticed the place. Like I remember the sign, like it's not like it was a new place, but I didn't notice the name until after 9/11. And I'm like, ooh, that one's going to hurt a little bit. Osama's
letter.
Yeah. And like there was a convenience store in Dalton back in the day called 911. Like, oh, it's like 7-Eleven, but two better. I don't know what maybe they wanted to open a 7-Eleven, couldn't get a franchise and just made up 911.
2 more extra days of the week.
It was on
March weather.
It was on Sibley right by the
Where?
McDonald's and the Dalton Expo that they made a concert hall for a minute or something, or that old bowling alley that they tried making a concert hall in it was called
Didn't work, huh?
9/11. No, it didn't work out. They had big people there too at that little concert place. Like Chris
Kelly?
Brown before he beat Rihanna, but after his first single came out and he was like super hot. He was playing a show there. I'm like, this is Dalton, Illinois. That place holds like maybe 1,000 people. I bet it was fucking mobbed.
Is that the place by the train station area? Okay.
Yeah, it's like across the street. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Across the street is the pawn shop and shit.
Mm-hmm. That's where 9/11 used to be.
Which one, Dale? It's Dalton. Yeah. I love driving through there. I have to
City
do
of
that in a week or two. I have to go to the eye doctor, which I've talked about a little bit. Always the only reason I ever have to go there. I always say I'm going to look for a new eye doctor because I don't like making that drive for no real special reason. And then I'm too lazy. Before I know it, I need contacts. So I'm like, get me in there.
Well, it's because you're being racist. You're being racist. That's why.
No. Next category.
And if you don't want to get robbed and murdered, then check your privilege.
Next category is screenplay of the year. Do you have a screenplay of the year? Did you watch any movies where the screenplay spoke to you, or did you read a screenplay that you were like, this is awesome?
That of a movie that came out this year?
Yeah. Or just, it could be an older movie, but like, wow, what a great story. Queen's Gambit. Oh, wow.
But I saw it this year. Not really. Nothing that stands out. I mean, whatever you wrote this year. I don't even have to read it.
Screenplay of the year, Bump in the Night. Screenplay of the year for everyone. When this gets picked up, produced, and distributed in theaters, if theaters are still around, it's going to change horror anthologies forever. And I can't wait.
Jason,
can't wait for it.
Bloomy, baby.
Yeah.
What's going on?
We can make it like a yearly thing.
Good.
Every year or two, just because I always love, Creep Show 2, and it's just like, tell me why there's not Creep Show 5 to 7. Like that's,
yeah, they had eight Leprechauns, 12 Hellraisers or whatever. We went down that rabbit hole. Yeah, Bump in the Night, another Bump in the Night, Bump in the Night 3, still bumping.
Yeah, keep bumping, bumping uglies.
Yeah, bump and grind. Bump in the Night, bump and grind. And it's
so many options.
1994 period piece.
There we go.
There you go.
Next category.
I was setting you up there. I didn't know that's exactly where you were going, but that's where I was going.
You say I don't get my shit in. Enough,
get your shit in, man.
You know what? I will.
You won a film festival award,
and there's more coming. I'm not gonna spoil things, but I'm getting these emails. I'm getting these calls. I'm like, yes, thank you. I am at work right now.
Please hold. Please hold. There are 3 people ahead of you.
Next category, asshole of the year. Now there are a lot of contenders. Obviously, we probably talked about a few. Mitch McConnell's probably in the conversation. Joey Ryan, the penis wrestler.
Yeah, that's a good one.
A lot of the Me Too movement monsters. But the winner for me, for my asshole of the year, I'm sorry to be repetitive, folks, but it has to be Donald J. Trump. This is the 4th year in a row for you, sir. Congratulations.
It's rough.
I don't think he gets 5. I don't think he wins next year, but we'll see.
Not in a row, but maybe in 2023 when he tries to
back.
And he tries to run again. Yeah, could happen.
He's like, he's not going to win, but he's just going to ruin a lot of things, divide the nation, and just set things back a little bit. That might get him another asshole of the year in 2023.
I can't wait to see the 2023, 2024 and see everybody sort of bend to his will in the primaries and everything when he runs. There's no way he's not going to run again, right? If he's alive, if he's breathing.
Are they going to let him? Why are they going to let him? They're going to convince him to have it be his daughter or somebody, the dumb son, one of the dumb sons.
His argument could be that Joe Biden won when he was my age that I am now. There's no reason I can't win again.
Yeah, and Joe Biden's riding a bicycle. You could 10 years ago you couldn't ride a bicycle.
With 2 hands, you can't drink a glass of water.
Yeah, watch me. Everybody look. I just woke up from a nap, so I've got all this energy. Here we go. One hand.
Watch me walk down a ramp. Whoops. Can't do that.
To his credit, he's never fallen and eaten shit. And I would have bet money that it would have happened at least once. So good for him. They got him the Stickum shoes. Real good grip. Nurse's shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The good shit.
Yeah, the restaurant kitchen shoes. Black ones with the little honeycomb on the bottom. Yeah, he's got to be my pick too. But I was trying to think a little bit outside the box. Like maybe somebody that stood out just pandemic-wise.
Sometimes you just know what the winner's going to be. Like, it's just going to be Schindler's List. There's not going to be a twist here. That's going to be your winner. That won something.
Can we pick God? I feel like
a bit of a prick.
The year, it's just kind of like, hey, Kobe's dead, and then we forgot all about that because of coronavirus.
That is also in the running for surprise of the year. Holy shit!
You know what? For me, surprise of the year for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was when I think it was the championship game. Teddy won. They came home, and we found out Kobe died. Or it was the week before the championship game. Oh,
I remember that. And he played lights out for.
Yeah, the next week they won. Terrible.
Yeah,
definitely a bad surprise.
My last category here, a simple one, a fun one. I'm very interested to see what your answer will be because you don't really watch the product all that much. But Wrestler of the Year, 2020, year of wrestling with no audience. A year of, I'm sure we'll probably have less JR because he's, old and at risk. No, we had more JR.
Old and at risk. We're getting corona.
Yeah, I figured they'd send his ass home. And he's just like, no, I got this barbecue sauce to shill still. And why are they doing dives and planchas? Tell me why they all stand around in a group for one guy to jump on him. It's silly. That was his thing this week. Or a couple weeks ago.
I have a pick, and I don't know maybe if you'll be surprised, but I'm gonna say The Undertaker was sort of his last hurrah of the year, and he had did a lot of interviews. We got a better peek behind the curtain with him. He had that cool WrestleMania match where shit was on fire.
Yeah.
It just sort of seems like his, the Mariano Rivera, last, I'm going to do my little tour and tip my hat and give everyone a jersey everywhere I go. Like, it felt like his year of saying goodbye. So I'm going to pick The Undertaker because I don't really want to pick anyone else.
And a legit, farewell tour.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? Because, Kobe did his farewell tour and it was awesome and it meant something. And
Derek Jeter did one.
Paul Pierce kind of was essentially doing one. And another player, I forgot who it was, but they were like, why are you doing a farewell tour like you're Kobe? Nobody gives a shit. And it was just the most cold-blooded thing I've ever heard in my life because it was so true. And you can't, Jesus Christ, he has a family.
Yeah, Rivera did one. And he's a legend, instant first ballot Hall of Famer. Derek Jeter did one. I can't really think of any other notable baseball ones. I can't think of a Paul Pierce equivalent of someone that was really good, won a title, but is not Kobe. That's not going to make headlines.
Peyton kind of had a farewell tour. He had a final season that everybody knew. This was it.
But again, I'd put him in. he's a legend. He's not Tom Brady, but he's got rings. He was one of the all-time greats.
Wow. So you don't put him up there with Tom Brady?
No, I said he's not Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's got what, 7 championships or 6 or something.
As quarterbacks, I put them right next to each other. Yes, obviously one has way more rings than the other, but that's because of defense and coaching and a lot of some other factors.
Sure, yeah, no, he was one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, but as a QB, I put them right fucking next to each other for sure. I didn't expect. Is this controversial?
I don't think so. I get what you're saying. Like I would say in his prime, he was more impressive to watch. But it's hard to argue with all them rings.
But even the final seasons for Peyton, I was like, I mean, he was never mobile to begin with. And I was like, oh, this old man's going to get fucking crushed. Yeah, and he was still just slinging it. Same thing with like Breeze now. And yeah, he gets banged up a bit more and there's some bad throws every now and then, but he's still breezing it up for the most part.
Peyton squeaked out another championship too. With that, I didn't see coming in Denver.
Yeah. Squeeze that one out. My wrestler of the year. Because this was the year of AEW. They got their show, late 2019 probably or something. So, but it was essentially their first year on television in existence. So I wanted to go with someone in AEW, and it's not going to be, your Kenny Omega, who's a top guy, top wrestler. Cody Rhodes, a mainstay. I wanted to see like who really, beginning to end, just shot. And I was thinking maybe like a Darby Allin, because nobody a year ago could tell you who that is. You probably still can because you don't watch AEW. But he's a homegrown talent, essentially.
I was going to ask, who did he used to be? Like, who did I used to know he was?
Yeah, he's always been Darby Allin. My pick's going to be AEW's MJF. He's the smarmy heel guy, really good on the stick, super young, talented. He's got some good stuff in the ring. There's some improvements to be made, but just immediately a top-level heel and just only improving week after week. And it's sick how talented this guy is.
Yeah, Miller Jackson Farnsworth.
That's the one. Max Jebediah? No. Friedman. He's of Jewish persuasion, and that's a big part of his gimmick, and it's hilarious.
I never would have seen that coming. That doesn't seem like a hot wrestling angle, or gimmick, but that's cool.
I mean, he's not out there, it's not obnoxious or anything, but it's a part. It's a piece of his puzzle, and I like it. I love his puzzle.
Like Goldberg, it's like he's a Jew, and that's a super Jewish name. Mm-hmm. And that was just his name, Goldberg. But he wasn't like a Jewish gimmick. But I can see Vince like, I don't know, pal. Like if he came up in WWE, like, how about Billy Goldbricks or Golden? Yeah, but I don't know about Goldberg. It's something about that name.
How about Stone Ridge? Bill Stone Ridge.
Bill Gold Rush.
There you go. Come out in gold.
Well, and Gold Dust. We have that already? Oh, okay.
Oh, you'll be Bill Gold Dust. Hey, boss, I don't know about that. Watch. I think it's a good idea.
Dustin Gold Roads.
You'll be Billy Goldmember. I just thought of that myself.
That would have been before that movie too. You'd have beat him to the punch. He's sitting there typing up the script. Like, oh, Goldmember, that'll be, and then he hears through the grapevine, oh yeah, there's a wrestler named that. Fuck.
Wrestling loves stealing from the movies. It'd be awesome if the movies like, fuck it, steal from these cardies.
I was pissed off, but it's just because I'm a mark. When you think of Zeus, what's the first thing you think? His fucking name was Zeus in Hollywood for a while. So what's the first thing you think of when you think of Zeus?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
What is it?
Oh, I think of the god Zeus.
No, I mean when you think of the actor.
Oh, I think of No Holds Barred.
Of course. His fucking character's name.
That's where I think. I mean, he might have actually. See, maybe there's a Patreon episode in the works, but he might have been doing some Zeus stuff before No Holds Barred. But I always thought they did that movie, and he kind of just, for marketing and financial reasons, like, yeah, let's just keep this going.
Yeah,
I wonder if was he working shows before No Holds Barred as Zeus?
No, he wasn't. He didn't wrestle before the movie. They
Thank you.
They had him work. They had him do the wrestling to promote the movie.
That's what I thought. Okay,
but so Tommy Tiny Lister Jr. I've seen him. I want to say in the credits of Friday, it says Zeus Tiny Lister.
That's how I prefer his name to be spoken.
Right. So there was not. He passed away this year, earlier this month, and everything's like he was an actor who was known for Friday and some other things. I'm like, hold on, actor and professional wrestler. Hello.
And he had
that was his big break
run. Like this isn't like Mr. T. I do one match, 1.5 matches.
I think he did like 6 matches.
He probably did some house shows and shit back, as well. So he's probably had at least a dozen matches under his belt, and that's crazy. And I love that.
SummerSlam '89. He was like the main event,
and he did WCW stuff, which is also just hilarious. Was he Zeus? I assume you have like a wiki up for him. So
I do.
What was he called in WCW?
In WCW, he came in '96.
It was like the ghetto
Z Gangsta.
That's what it is. Yeah, there's the racism. The Z Gangster.
Well, he was just in Friday.
Fucking terrible, dude.
As part of this is the stable's name, the Alliance to End Hulkamania.
I remember that. That's the cage match thing. It's fucking silly. Oh my god.
He debuted with fellow actor wrestler Robert Swenson, who was billed as the Ultimate Solution.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He died at age 40. Oh my goodness.
Who?
Robert Swenson.
Oh.
1957 to 1997. So right after this angle, he died. Heart attack.
I thought you were saying Zeus was 40. I was going to say, holy shit.
Oh, goddamn. The Ultimate Solution was 405 pounds. So that's his build weight, but still.
So that's how you die at 40.
I was 5 in 1989. So, of course, Zeus to me is the wrestler and the guy from No Holds Barred. And then, of course, Debo. We know him in other roles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He was on Fresh Prince.
Oh, Jesus.
Like he would be in little character actor roles like that too, guest spots and stuff. But
yeah, if you needed a heel like that, somebody with a big imposing look,
like you said, it's not like he just came in for a match like Mr. T and was a famous actor, came in to help boost the company, like bringing in a Mike Tyson or something, somebody that's famous outside of wrestling. You bring them in for their fame. He got famous because of wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I read 2 different articles where they were talking about his career and his life, and neither one of them mentioned at all that he wrestled at all, let alone like main evented a pay-per-view with Hulk Hogan in the 80s, which is, I guess kind of a big deal if we were talking about wrestling.
Fucking lame.
Yeah.
Don't tarnish his legacy. What's the Arrow guy's name? Do you know that by any chance?
The Arrow guy.
Arrow, he's like the stud guy.
Stephen Amell.
Yes. Like he's a big wrestling guy, good friends with Cody. He's done a handful of matches. Takes it very seriously, and I always appreciate that from those types of fellas. But I think even Zeus has more matches than Mr. Amell, who's wrestled in WWE, some AEW, I think. Zeus still has him top. I want to see that. I want to see a list of
He's done AEW stuff?
I think one match.
That's
and he
cool.
got hurt. And they're like, and his wife was like, yeah, you're not doing that shit again. It was like a table spot gone awry.
Well, here's something to point out is Zeus looked big in a WWE ring. Stephen Amell looks jacked in Arrow, but when you threw him in there with those monsters, and this is the 2020s where everyone shits on how small the wrestlers look now, he did not look like a wrestler. Yeah. He was in shape. I'm not saying he wasn't in shape, but
super athletic, but yeah.
But Zeus looked like he belonged in that ring.
Yeah. And he he had that aura.
Not work wise, by the way. Just like
No, once that bell rang, you were fucked.
Yeah, the
You're like,
weird eye though, that helped.
Yeah, he had the eye. Yeah, he was a talented guy.
The eye, it bite me in the eye. Oh, you know what? Album of the year. I'll tell you, because I'm thinking you're gonna come to me, you're gonna say, Jim, what's your music of the year?
Thank you.
And I don't really Taylor Swift's album this year, honestly, I really liked it. And I'm not a Taylor Swift guy. And her style has been shifting from like pop country to like dancey pop music over the years. But this is like acoustic, sort of stripped down, little earthy feeling. Like you feel like you should be wearing a flannel when you listen to it. She's wearing a flannel on the cover. Like you should be in a cabin in the woods putting it on. I really like it. But for me, album of the year is the Jerky Boys.
There it is.
Album of the year. Comeback of the year, the Jerky Boys.
Surprise of the year, Jerky Boys.
The Jerky Boys. Let me see now.
Asshole of the year, the scammer.
Yeah,
that tried
the
to
social security guy. Bitch, fuck, bitch.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then watch your language.
D cool.
Said it's Dorothy cool.
Dorothy. I don't feel like I'm comfortable telling you that information. It was it's good, and the more you listen to it, the better it gets. So 2020 sucked. There were some shit situations. A lot of people died. A lot of people got really sick. It was terrible. We had to deal with asshole running everything into the ground. But he lost, and the Jerky Boys album was good, and we're going to come out on the other side of it, and we'll be stronger for it. I got my kids back to end the year, so.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's going to have to be my album of the year. I was thinking when you brought it up, I was like, oh my God, what do I got to look? I've listened to a lot, Twisted's new stuff, but I did not like it. They put out some stuff in 2020, which was awesome. But yeah, I do like a lot of their older stuff better. I was going to say an honorable mention to the Beetlejuice musical soundtrack. I listened to that a lot. I think that came out a couple years ago, but for me, I really got into it. But it's got to be the Jerky Boys. You're dead on. Album of the year.
Sorry, Tay Swift. You'll get him next year, but Johnny Brennan's got you.
Do a collaboration. Just seal the deal, then, Taylor.
Oh, so we had mentioned that Radiohead named an album Pablo Honey after the Jerky Boys call on Jerky Boys 2. And I was trying to tell our friend Torrid that there was another 90s rock thing that I couldn't remember what it was, and I can't confirm that this was named after. Can't confirm that it was named after Jerky Boys, but it came out in 95, like right at their prime. Mm-hmm. It's called Rubberneck. It's a Toadies album called Rubberneck. Now,
call me Rubberneck.
Rubberneck is a term for people that are looking at an accident while they're driving. But when you say Rubberneck, if you're my age or Dale's age, the first thing I think of is the Jerky Boys. They call me Rubberneck. So absolutely. I'm going to count that.
Yeah, and especially in that era, it all kind of lines up. Maybe it's a coincidence, but probably not. I don't believe in coincidences.
So step on piss clams.
Just don't believe in them.
I don't believe in them either. So rounding off the year, it's not so bad. To thank you so much again for all of our patrons this year. Sticking with us.
That's the surprise of the year. I'm changing my vote.
Yeah. We still have 6 patrons.
Let's make it 7 in 2021.
Let's add one. Let's pick one up. One of our patrons bought me a Christmas card. That's
very nice.
Someone I don't know super well. It's not like Dave or somebody. And
tear for that.
Was pleasantly surprised by that because it took some work to contact me and let me know about it. But they did it anyway.
That's awesome. Very good. A little hurt by that story, but that's
well,
I had a happy holidays.
It's somebody I know personally that you don't know personally.
Okay, there you walk it back.
I don't want to reveal too much.
Save
is
my
all.
feelings. Okay.
You know, when you work in an educational facility, you don't want to give away things. You know what I mean?
They took him to the local medical facility for treatment. It's not a hospital. We don't have hospitals. So next week, because we could start it now. Let's do it. Fuck it.
Do it.
Let's talk a little PC. Let's talk a little computers. Now, for some of you folks, this might be a little boring. For others, this might be porn for you. This talk. But I've been thinking of upgrading my PC. Essentially, just like a Band-Aid, like a one and done. I'm not a big build your own PC guy. I'm not a big upgrading my PC. It just kind of gives me anxiety. I'm not gonna lie about it, but I'm like, I can drop some dough and get like a nice little pre-built number. But I've always heard iffy things about them, like bloatware and what's going on, and are they actually really good? But you can look under the hood, what's in there.
Certainly.
Is that going to get it done for me? But there is this like, master PC race. You're supposed to build your own.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, maybe one day, but I think it's time for me. And one of our buddies got a Weasel. God, we have friends with awesome names. Tord, Weasel.
Tord and Weasel.
He got a pre-made one that looks pretty good. And you busted his ball. I told you this story. You busted his balls.
I busted his balls a bit.
Just slightly. That's just what we do. And I was like, okay, so that whole pre-built thing, there is that stigma to it. Maybe they're not as good. And then like 4 days later, you're like, I fucking bought a pre-built thing and it's gonna be this shit. And I was like, you son of a bitch.
It is.
So I was very confused.
Okay.
So let's talk about this, and then talk about your rig.
I love questions. Okay.
And then advice and tips for other folks, specifically me, because it's time.
I'll try and be brief with this part, but we are in an era now where there are supply chain shortages due to COVID, and also you have the Bitcoin mining and stuff, which I think is sort of leveled off as far as PC parts being available. But it's hard to come by some of these parts. They sell out instantly and then there's no stock for months. So usually it's not that the pre-builts haven't been good. It's that you're not getting good value, because if you just did it yourself, you'd save, several $100s. Depending on what you're building, maybe more than that. But then, like you pointed out, you also have to build it and make it work. Now, for me, though, that's always been the fun part of it. It's not like, well, I'm too cheap to get a pre-built. It's more like I want to build it myself because I enjoy that. I haven't bought a desktop computer for myself ever. So I got one as a graduation gift. And then the next new computer I got a couple years later, I built myself, and I've only built them myself until right now.
Until today.
The 30 series graphics cards by NVIDIA are probably bang for buck the best cards series that's ever come out in terms of how affordable they are at launch, and then how much they crush the previous series cards. Usually, like $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 cards are really good, and they're better than the last series, but the $500 card is not as good as the last series $1,200 card. But that's not the case now. But you can't get these cards anywhere. So I did some number crunching if I were to build it myself, or if I were to get one pre-made. And it was like $100 or so, $200 off. And you can't find these cards anywhere. So I'd have to pay scalper prices, and it would actually cost me more to build it myself. I'm also at the point where if I bought a new graphics card with the computer I have now, I'm not going to see as much out of it because I have a 7-year-old processor and a 7-year-old motherboard and, DDR3 RAM, all that stuff. So it was time for an overhaul, and it just worked out this way, where the pre-built was the way to go. And that's why Weasel did his that way. He was like, I was going to buy all the parts separately, but there weren't any. And then this thing was on sale, and it was cheaper than if I were to buy all the parts separately. So it's not a bad solution.
With the gaming stuff, it's always about, I mean, your processor and power and all that, but let's be honest, it's all about that graphics card.
Yeah.
It's always been about the graphics card. So which one is in the mail? You're going to pick it up. You don't have it quite yet. Maybe you do.
No, I don't. I'll have it January 8th. And if it comes a day later, I'll be very mad.
Oh, I hope we're not recording.
Hey, that's a Friday. That is a Friday too.
All right, good.
Friday, and I'll be alone.
So which graphics card do you have in that rig?
It's an NVIDIA RTX 3070.
So you did get the 3070.
I got the 3070. The 3080s are really good. The 3090s are really good as well, but their specialty is like video editing. Not video editing. It's not a quadro. It's still a gaming card, but the 3090 has 24 gigabytes of RAM on the graphics card, and I don't have 24 gigabytes of RAM in my computer right now.
Let alone on the fucking graphics
right,
card.
Exactly. It's a beast of a card. It's really expensive. Can't find them also. But this is the 3070, which is retails for $500, but they sold out instantly, and you can't find them. And they are better than the 2080 of the previous series. So,
because I don't want to throw a weasel under the bus, but he linked me, what he got essentially.
Yep.
He's got the 2070, which is good card.
Still a great
my
card.
Research. Yeah, top notch card. It's it's not this fucking new super card that they're coming out with, but from my limited research here, that seems to be a pretty damn good card. His rig, i7, core processor, this and that. He essentially paid around $900 for it, and I was like, God damn, that's not bad. Doesn't seem bad at all.
That's
and I'm willing to throw it. I'm tired of the frames. I'm tired of the stuttering, the performance issues. I'm ready and willing to throw down some change and just get this done so I can play my PUBGs and my DayZs. My other buddies played this Hell Let Loose, some World War II game. My computer almost fucking killed itself.
Started smoking.
When I tried to play that game. I'd like to be able to play these games at a high level and not have to worry about that stuff. I don't want to have to open up that little tab that shows your frames in the upper left corner on Steam, that overlay. I don't even want to have to deal with that. I just want to know I'm ready to go. So I'll try to look into something in the 30 series because I think I should be able to manage that.
Yeah. See,
and do you have any websites or anything? Because he did Micro Center. He had a good Micro Center find. I know you're about to mention Dell, which I was playing around on their website for Dell G5 gaming desktop,
which is what I ended up getting. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Because it does have all these options, like what kind of processor do you want? Because that can get pretty expensive, or it could be pretty manageable. Because right now I have an i3, so when I saw like an i7, i9, I was like, oh shit.
Well, here's the thing. Here's something you need to know, that the i series came out 12 or 13 years ago, and each series has an i3, i5, i7. They added the i9 a couple generations ago, but when you look at the number, so like I used to have an i3, whatever, it was like 4660, because that was the fourth generation of the i series, and they're on the 11th one's about to come out. So you have an i3, but it could be an i3 30 something or a 40 something. You know what I mean?
It's a 4170.
Right. So that's Gen 4, and they're on Gen 11 coming out.
Damn, God.
So they still make an i3. The i3 just means it's dual core with 4 threads. So
each everything out. Okay.
Each core has 2. i5 is 4 cores. i7 is 8 cores. And then the i9 is like 12 or something. I don't know. It's a lot. And I think the i9s, there are different ones that some have 12 and some have 10, or I don't know. But
I was seeing a lot of 10th generation i7, and I'm like, all right, that seems somewhat new.
Yeah, like for games that are going to be coming out, you want to try and back in the day, dual core was overkill because these games weren't optimized to even run on 2 cores, right? But now the newer games are more and more optimized each time for multi-threaded processes and everything. So
Yeah.
you want to future-proof if you're going to spend some dough. The other problem
That's what
is,
I was thinking. That's what I was, because, this isn't about like, oh, I want to play PUBG seamlessly. No, I'm thinking about PUBG 2, the sequel.
right? Yeah, I got Cold War, which runs on my computer, but like shit. And I'm like, God, once I played it with a keyboard and mouse on a computer, I'm like, I can't play this on a console again. Now I need to juice this up, and I got a 1440p, a 2K monitor, and making that jump from 1080p to 1440p, you need more beef.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a new monitor. I've already looked at that.
Yeah,
and we'll talk numbers.
To get the high frames, you need a monitor
here.
that can refresh fast enough to show you all those frames.
Because I feel my monitor's not good. It's not like a fucking tube box or anything.
Sure.
But it could be updated for sure.
Some good sales on those right now.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna have some conversations after this. So do you suggest Dell? Do you suggest like waiting for they do this deal called whatever the fuck? Like, is there any advice on buying?
Well, Micro Center, I want to say it's February, but I could be wrong. Could be January. They have a build your own computer month. And all the pieces separately are on sale. As far as the sale, you can at Micro Center, you can find like an open box or something, something somebody returned that just works and they didn't want it. And they'll have it substantially discounted. And if the only reason I went with Dell is because we have financing through Dell all the time. And we're in really good standing with them, and we got like a deal through the financing. But the pre-builts from Micro Center or whatever are cheaper. And if you're going to pay cash, I wouldn't say go Dell. You know what I mean? I did it because it worked out with the financing.
With the financing and get that Bob's card.
Yeah, I got the Bob's card. They like us. We're good to them, so they're good to us. They get you the good financing. But you could find, they sell Dells at Micro Center, pre-built Dells. So you could go see whatever the best deals are. But it's like February or March. Maybe January.
It better be fucking January.
But that, like I said, that's the build your own computer thing. They do sales all the time. And there's 2. There's one in Chicago. There's one in Westmont. And look for the open box deals. I've gotten so many good open box deals from Micro Center through the years. Like, a $300 graphics card for $200. It's brand new, except somebody opened it and returned it. If it was broken, they wouldn't give it to you. If you get it home and it doesn't work, you have a month to return it. And there were times where I got an open box deal from them and it didn't work. And they're like, well, we don't have another one. We'll just give you a brand new one for the open box price. So I highly recommend Micro Center.
I will definitely do that. I'll take a drive down there maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. I've got some days off here.
Yeah, it's fun. If you're going to get
like, I've been thinking about it for such a long time. I mean, we all do. Like, I should upgrade this PC. I should upgrade this PC. And then when you guys start like, yeah, Max, we're doing it. I was
well, John started it. John's like, sky's the limit. I'm going to build Skynet. And then I'm like, oh, shit. My computer's getting a little long on the tooth.
And it's you can get carried away, especially with the Dell website.
He sure did.
What kind of processor? And like I was like building my own, having a good time, and it was just like, yeah, that's 2600. This one's 3100. Oh, you want the Alienware Aurora R11 with all those things you want? Yeah, that's 3100 plus your monitor. So I got the monitor in there too.
Yeah, the Alienware is Dell's brand, and it's too expensive for what you get. Right. I feel.
Good. All right, good to know. That's why we're talking here. Fuck them.
The G series is a newer thing they've been doing with desktops, and it's like it's the same fucking processors and memory and everything. The Alienwares are cool, but yeah, right. And they're liquid. They come with liquid cooling from the factory and shit, but they're more money. And these look a little easier to get around into. The Alienwares always have like a goofy design. We have some at work that I've had to work on. And it's more of a pain than like a traditional Dell tower.
Hmm.
But it still lights up
Good to know.
because it says
Yeah,
gaming on it.
No one's gonna see my fucking computer. I don't care.
I've never had any of that shit.
But the Alienware one does look pretty cool. It almost works against it. It looks so gimmicky that I'm like, why do you look like Mad Catz controllers?
Yeah,
Like I don't trust you. You
It's
look
like
like a child's toy.
a gold-plated Bugatti Veyron car. And you're like, wait a minute, this looks like a Matchbox car, but in real life. What's the catch? Yeah, we'll talk about it more next week, and then let me know what's going on, what you're looking at,
Yeah, we'll see.
because
We'll
I'm
get
interested. I'm always
updates on that.
interested.
And when you're getting yours, the 5th, the 8th?
The 8th. It's Friday the 8th.
So a couple.
Not a
so
second later.
Oh man. So that'll be a couple shows later. We'll get into that.
It was a treat from my
how it's
wife.
running.
I got to put her over real quick. I mean,
Here we go.
she said, "Look, I've gotten numerous Dell laptops over the years. We got the TV. This has been a shit year. You go to work every day just like I do. You never ask for money for anything. You never buy yourself anything, that I don't like sell something I already have to get." So she's like, "What do you want a new computer? Let's pick it out. Let's look at it." And it was like being a little kid. She's like, "Well, that says 2 terabytes. Isn't that cooler?" I'm like, "What's cooler? But it's more money." She's like, "Put it in the cart."
You got that 2 TB.
So she saw the express shipping, and she looked at me. She's like, "Express shipping. I know you want this right now." So it better be here on the goddamn 8th of January.
Now I understand that express
Okay.
shipping. That's legit.
And they had it available. You got to be careful too. You'll be setting your options, and then all of a sudden you see the delivery date. It's like February. You're like, "Oh shit! Even they don't have any of these."
Look, your sofa will get there when it gets there.
Steve is stitching it right now in our Kenosha factory.
I'm telling you, folks. Look, the plants were shut down for a couple months there, a couple months here. Right off the bat, we're all closed 5 months. Then they open the factories up. They're not open full staff, so that's half staff. That's half production. So you want to know why your sofa's backed up? I just fucking told you. I don't want to hear it.
Then I
I'm
want
not gonna
half
get
price.
yelled at
You're half
by
staff.
you.
I want half price.
I haven't heard that one yet. That'd be great.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it now, and you're
I'm
gonna know
like-
they listened.
I'm like, can I get a manager over here?
They're listening just to get Bob's deals.
Any plugs before we get out of here besides Dell and maybe not Alienware monitors?
Yeah, maybe not Alienware, but Micro Center's always been good to me. No plugs though, no shows coming up or anything for me. Not yet. Hopefully
Maybe
soon.
2021.
Good lord.
See what 2021 has to offer.
It's
Yeah,
all,
the
it's
next
all
show
get
we're gonna.
poked.
What? Oh
It's
yeah,
all get
yeah.
poked, get the juice
get
in us,
poked
and
twice.
go out there and see some shows.
Hell yeah! I want to see vaccine track marks. Like, hey, show me your arm. Show me your
How
fucking
fresh is
arm.
it? Is that number 1 or number 2?
You gotta get
It's
the
two-parter.
second one. Yeah, I can't wait for those hillbillies to just get the one and be like, "Yeehaw! I'm going to the rodeo." It's like you gotta get the second one, Bubba. Ah, Jesus. Yeah, follow us on patreon.com/notlikethis. I'm hoping we get number 7 in 2021.
I
And if
feel
we
it.
get double digits, I'm just gonna lose my fucking mind.
I feel it. Number 7's coming. I can feel it.
Oh, Jesus. But that's going to do it for episode 156. Thank you for listening. You guys have a great end to your year. Have a safe New Year's. Watch the drinking and driving and all that jazz. And we'll see you next week. I'm Wonder Woman 84.
And I'm Soul.